Well, one gentleman I got to know through politics, my former colleague in the House of Representatives. He's the former chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, Pete Hoekstra of Michigan, checking in from Newsmax Washington this morning. Pete, we really appreciate your time. We should note you ran the House Intelligence Committee. It's a similar role to what Dianne Feinstein experiences right now in the Senate. Your thoughts about this report and its release?
Well, I think, number one, this report is not going to move the discussion on enhanced interrogations. It's not going to move the discussion on foreign policy. It's a Democratic report. It should have been a bipartisan report if we actually wanted to have a genuine discussion and resolution as to what would be okay in terms of interrogating prisoners that we catch. The other thing on this report, JD, is it is a total cover-up of the role of Congress. You know, I assumed the chairmanship of the House Intelligence Committee in 2004. Me and my Democratic counterparts were fully briefed on what enhanced interrogation techniques might be used on people that we captured, what it entailed, and all of these types of things. And the whole role of Congress in this is totally whitewashed, and that's why Mike Hayden believes accurately that this will create a timid CIA, because in 2002, 3, 4, 5, when these activities were going on, they were rightfully told this is approved by the executive branch, it has been reviewed by the judicial branch, and Congress is fully aware of and supports what you are doing.
So, Pete, many pundits have accused the Senate of using this report for political gains. Do you think this report is being politicized? And if so, what are the gains?
Oh, absolutely. It's a political report. It is a Democrat-passed report in the U.S. Senate. The Republicans balked at this report and don't believe that it actually reflects reality or actually reflects what happens during the time. Politically, you know, going back and bashing the Bush administration and the CIA one more time, 13 years after 9/11, I'm not sure what they expect to gain.
Well, Arizona's senior senator John McCain took to the Senate floor yesterday to also react to this report, and it certainly gave Chairman Feinstein the appearance of a bipartisan reaction. Let's take a listen to what Senator McCain had to say, then I'd like to get your reaction.
I know the use of torture compromises that which most distinguishes us from our enemies. Our belief that all people, even captured enemies, possess basic human rights which are protected by international conventions the United States not only joined, but for the most part authored.
Well, let's talk some about that. Some of these enemy combatants, they don't belong to nation states. So, Pete, do the traditional laws and treaties of warfare apply to those political combatants?
Well, I think it's always been established that the traditional laws and rules and regulations of warfare do not apply to these enemy combatants. But I think Senator McCain is right. This is not about what treaties we have signed onto that mandate U.S. behavior. This is about who we are and what we value and the code of conduct that we will carry forward regardless of what treaties we have put together. That's why I think a discussion on enhanced interrogations versus torture and those types of things would have been a very, very valuable discussion to have, so that people like Senator McCain and others could weigh in and chart a path forward, not publicly, but chart a path forward. But that's not what this report is. It is a hack job by the Senate Democrats on their views of something that happened 13 years ago. It should have been focused on a bipartisan review.
But it's out now. So, as you mentioned, going forward, what do you think will happen now as a result?
I think you've got a couple of things. Anytime the CIA now briefs the House or the Senate Intel committees on their on what they're actually involved in, what they are doing, especially Gang of 8 notifications where only 8 members are notified, the director of the CIA or the DNI is going to come in, and they're going to take very copious notes as to who was actually in the meeting and what Congress was told, so that they will have a better record of what Congress knew and when they knew it. I think the other thing that will happen is people in the field for the CIA are going to want to have written notification and written authority to carry out certain very risky behaviors and risky tasks when they are asked to do those, to make sure that they have the clarity and the bureaucratic paperwork behind them authorizing whatever they are being asked to do. They are going to have to believe that they are being covered. I mean, yesterday there were discussions at the UN about prosecuting people, and the people that are put at risk are the field officers at the CIA. You bet they're going to become timid, and they are going to become much more cautious. The CIA will become bureaucratized, and the end result is they will not be able to give us the information that they need to provide us that will keep America safe.
About a minute remains. What does this also do to the much vaunted bipartisanship? You talked about you and your ranking member, a Democrat, back in 2004. Does this poison the well and bring a partisan taint to the Intelligence Committee that really shouldn't be there? About 45 seconds, Pete.
What you've got is you've got new leadership coming into the Senate Intel Committee, with Richard Burr becoming the chairman of that committee. You've got new leadership in the House. No, there's always the opportunity to come back for bipartisanship. You know, I think today is the 10-year anniversary of the last time we had true bipartisanship in the Intel community. We passed, the Intelligence Reform Act of 2004. 10 years ago today, President Bush signed that legislation. They can come back, and it is what America needs. America needs Democrats and Republicans unified on supporting our intel community to do the right thing at the right time.
Fair enough. Pete Hoekstra, former chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, we thank you for your time. Still ahead, more with our friend Fred Russman, and America's Forum will continue following this Newsmax Now update.